food delivery is kind of going into its second phase. Quite interesting. I mean, some of these companies really are very big now. Second phase businesses then often become really big and then face things like competition law issues. Are you seeing that as an issue coming up? You know, most markets now seem to be dominated by 2 or 3 players, and this seems to be consolidating in a lot of markets. You know, you've dominated certainly in a number of the markets that you're in, and you've probably arguably pulled out of markets where you don't feel you can dominate. So is this going to be an issue going forwards? This idea that competition between a small number of players is going to cause governments to step in and start regulating and restricting?
Yeah, I don't like the word dominate. I don't think we've ever dominated any market. First of all, we're often the smaller player, certainly capital-wise. Yeah. It's true we're leading in most of our markets. Of the 24, I think we're leading in 20. But we've done that with a lot less capital than our competitors, so dominate is certainly not the right word. No. I think it's just being more agile, and it is. I think it is. It's evolving. So right now, this food is the core, restaurant food. You see this huge growth now in groceries. Yeah. I think there's going to be a number of different companies doing different things in the same space and with their unique value. I personally can't see a market with more than 3-4 platforms actively working and being profitable, making sustainable businesses. So there will be a limitation. And then there'll be others around which will be specialized in other things like groceries. There'll probably be retail specialists. We're multi-category. We have been from day one, so we do all that stuff. So hopefully we'll be well positioned. But a good example, I mean, we might lead in food and maybe be second in groceries, or lead in electronics and be second in pharmacy. I don't know. So I think it's gonna evolve. I think on demand in many aspects is here to stay. And this is one example. There's always going to be room for 2 or 3 players, I think. So if there's one dominant leader, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is happening a little bit in Germany, where there was one food operator alone, almost in the market. And now 2 or 3 have come to the market again. Delivery here has just gone back to its home market where they left, and they're going to compete. So they obviously think there's room for them to take market share, otherwise they wouldn't do it. So just to answer your question, I don't think there'll be complete domination by one player, and I think there's going to be room for 2 or 3.
Okay, well, look, you touched on this already, but let's talk about some of the other sectors, and perhaps they're more phase 1 than phase 2 in terms of delivery. So, so on-demand services like grocery delivery, like pharmacy delivery. What are some of the other issues from a regulatory perspective that you're starting to look at in those categories? What do you think is going to affect the development of these new sectors?
So we're starting to build our own micro-fulfillment centers. Actually, we have been for a couple of years. We've got nearly 100 built worldwide. These are storage units within the city that distribute very near to the consumer. So we can deliver, groceries, normally convenience, literally in 10, 15, 20 minutes. And we have competitors as well moving into that space. And what's happened, which is logical, is you have these supermarkets, not open to the public, but all the same, they're supermarkets, which suddenly have a lot of couriers in front, either waiting, delivering, and it creates a lot of noise. And sometimes these are neighborhoods, where neighbors, suddenly there's a disruption in what was there before. There's noise, there's activity, and they don't. So I think that's one thing that needs to be addressed. These need to be built, with good codes of conduct to make sure that they create a little negative impact to the environment around them.
So it's planning issues, really.
Planning issues, but also, they're open 24/7.
Right.
So,
problems. Yeah.
So you've got to think about those sort of things. And I think that's the type of thing that we're working with local councils to make sure that, we're doing things in the right way. And I'm sure our competitors are probably doing exactly the same thing. I'd hope so. Yeah. So that's around groceries. I think pharmacies are very interesting. It's hyper-regulated, health, obviously, as it should be. And we have different regulations in different countries. So, a good example is in some countries we're not allowed to deliver medicine. In some we are. Some countries we're not allowed to prescribe medicine. So we've got different issues and that'll be very complex. I think short term for us to change that. We don't decide on that in health regulation, pharmacy regulation. I think also we need to be seen as an ally of pharmacy. There's a worry from the pharmacy industry that we become a competitor, when in fact our whole business model is the complete opposite. We go to pharmacies and we actually help them sell more or sell for a new channel, which is digital. So we need to be seen as an ally for some industries where sometimes they think, oh, these...
Well, and you're already doing that in a number of other sectors as well. I mean, you've partnered up with a few kind of high street retail stores to deliver their products. So how is that going? Is that going to be the future, do you think? More and more of that kind of activity?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, we have a department which is called Q-commerce, Q for quick. And I think that's going to be one of the fastest growing segments of e-commerce. I think what it used to be fine 48 hours, now it's more or less okay 24, but people are asking same day. It's going to be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a really important part. And who is very close to the consumer? The retail stores. The big e-commerce companies have spent years moving products away from the cities to these storage places thousands of miles away from the customer, and then to ship them back. They realize that they need to be close to the consumer, so they're getting closer and closer. I mean, you know, Amazon, they're buying retailers.
Yeah, of course.
They're building mass storage right on the edge of the cities now. They want to deliver same day, within 2 hours. So this is a tendency, and my argument is, guys, retailers, you're the closest to the consumer. You have a unique advantage. This window of opportunity, you're probably only going to have it a couple of years. So really take advantage of it. We're an ally. There's other companies who are allies as well. And we can help get that product to the consumer who for whatever reason can't leave home or can't leave and wants it. They have an opportunity to do that.